Hey everyone. I wanted to add a bit to the book review I did yesterday on The Art of Rest by Claudia Hammond. That was very rushed, and there are a few points I did want to mention which I didn't get the time to mention because it was such a short amount of time I had. There was a really interesting study in that book about people who were asked to judge how valuable, how wealthy someone was based on how busy they were. And in the US and the UK, I believe, people judge the busier person to be more wealthy, whereas in Italy, they judge the less busy person to be more wealthy, which sort of makes sense if you follow the idea that Keynes had back 70 years ago, that as we became wealthy, we'd need to work less. But in the West, sorry, not in the West, in the UK and the US, it seems to be that nothing is ever enough. So it doesn't matter how busy you are, how much money you have, you still have to make more. So there's not that level where you can actually sit back and enjoy what Sidelsky in their life, in their book, How Much Is Enough, called the good life, which is a life that you actually enjoy rather than just living to work. And the whole idea that you never have enough because there's always someone who has more. Um, Now, another part of the book that was very interesting was those people who wear busyness. There are people who wear busyness as a badge of honor. They think that unless they look busy, even if they're not making a lot of money, unless they look busy, they're considered to be invaluable. So that reminds me of working in an office where even when there was frankly nothing to do, unless you looked busy and you were essentially wasting time, then you are in trouble. If you've got nothing to do, you can better use your time by, you know, going and doing something else. But you have to stay at your desk, you have to be on the phone, whatever, and it's just ridiculous. It ties into this whole thing, type A personalities and type B personalities, which is a very old distinction. Type A personalities, are go-getters and this and that, and they're always on the move and they're more successful, but they also die a lot more of heart attacks and things like that, stress-related illnesses. So I'd rather I'd rather have lots of money and not be dead. Yeah. So that's the point I wanted to make. A very interesting book is how I would describe the book I read. It was just there were parts of it yesterday which I really did have to gloss over, simply because of the lack of time. And now I've got a bit more time and the sun's shining for once. We've had nothing but storms for so damn long. This is nice. Another thing that came from the book, which I thought was really, really nice, is watching TV was something that was put down as a restful activity. I don't really watch TV anymore, but when I was growing up, I used to watch TV. Very rarely did I watch TV by myself. As a teenager, I did, late at night. I never slept as a teenager. But I watched a lot of TV and programs that I enjoyed with the guy who became my best friend ever, and we both enjoyed those programs. And a lot of what we did was relaxing, not having to talk to each other, whatever. So, they say, well, you may as well have been in a room alone. No, but we were both laughing at and enjoying the same thing. If you go on a date with somebody, let's say, and you go and watch the cinema, you don't spend the whole goddamn time looking at each other and talking, do you? You enjoy the film together. So I guess for that, yesterday I said I'd never watch TV, and really I don't. I think it's stupid. It's a waste of time most of the time, especially this crap that you have on TV nowadays. I mean, it was a conversation I was having with somebody else. A very interesting point came up, was the stupidity of our celebrities reflects the state of our nation. Ruminate on that for a while. But just a couple of things that I wanted to add. Another thing that came up in the story that was, in the book that was really, really nice was the author's, Claudia Hammond, the author's husband, reads books to her at night. I thought that was fantastic. I read books to my children at night, whatever, but wouldn't it be nice to just sit down and pick a nice book, a novel chosen by maybe your wife or your husband, if it's a female audience, and read to them. You get to spend time together. You get to both enjoy a book. One of you gets to really relax. Because how many of you sit there at night, when you should be sleeping, but instead you grab the phone and you sit there swiping, looking at news stories, looking at, I don't know, what goddamn bra size some celebrities wearing, all this absolutely inane, pointless bullshit. You could be reading a really good book, or you could be listening to a really good book. Books are valuable because they take you. People who read a lot of novels, get this, when novels first became popular, they were considered as harmful as gin, alcohol, and prostitutes. In fact, a reading couch they used to have reading couches back then, how nice, used to be considered as sinful as the bed of a prostitute. Because apparently, if you weren't busy and you weren't working in the poorhouse to make your feudal lord rich, then you were just idling and wasting your life. You know, you may as well be between the legs of a prostitute. But anyway, now we're a bit more accepting of reading. Novels especially have been shown to increase people's social intelligence, their empathy and other things, and also to reduce their stress. It takes you away into another world, away from your world. So sorry this is a bit disjointed. These are all things I wanted to mention yesterday. But, you know, I gave the book a 6 out of 10. It's a very strong 6 out of 10. It's like you could pick a fantastic piece of music. Pick something by Beethoven, say Beethoven's Ninth, which is an incredible piece of music. But lots of people just don't like classical music, so they'll give it a 0 out of 10. When in fact, looked at, generally, it's probably about a 9 or a 10 out of 10. But then so are tracks by artists in other genres. Yeah, it's just not my kind of genre. Maybe because a lot of it, I'm already pretty well rested. I mean, look, I get to sit in my car and record this video before I get on with my work. A lot of people have time alone, but they might be sitting in their car flicking through crap on the phone. I don't know. We have time alone. We just need to, well, we have time to rest. We just need to be aware of it and use it better. It doesn't mean you're not being productive. And so what if you're not being productive? You know, is anybody out there productive 100% of the time? No, because if they were, they'd soon burn out and die. So there you go. It's good for your life expectancy too. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I gotta go.